system.
Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon. All right. I'm feeling like Outcast this afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. Welcome to the first episode of the year of the phenomenon known to mankind as Saturday afternoon's main event. First and foremost, get this out the way. Happy 2026. 2025 was a doozy. 2025 was a lot. There was moments, there was retirements, there was, oh my God, interludes. There were rising stars, there were ups, there were downs, and a lot of downs. Most of all, there were so many I digresses. But the reality is, everything gets wiped clean. It's a new slate. We're 3 days into 2026, and we're only looking towards a momentous year, not just for ourselves individually and for you guys watching at home, but in the world of the topic that we discuss here every Saturday, which is the glorious world of professional wrestling. So, with that being said, I welcome you guys to Same, and after 4+ years of doing this, about to be 5 later this April, and somehow, someway, you still don't know who in the blue hell I am. Guys, it's a new year. I don't want to continue doing this, but it seems like I have to for you imbeciles across from this other end of the dimension of the screen. So, to introduce myself, I suggest you go back to school or go into your local library, get the biggest dictionary you can find, preferably Merriam-Webster, and look me up under the word phenomenal. Guys, it's the phenomenal one. What can I say? I'm back, better than ever, doing what I do best, and that is here, live in studio, preaching to you guys the same gospel. But, of course, I'm not alone, because I have my co-host, my comrade, my brother from another mother and dimension, the one and only limousine riding, jet flying, kiss stealing, wheeling dealing, son of a gun who is not having a hard time holding his alligators down. So, without further ado, on the first episode of the year, I would want for you guys to do 2 things. Give me 2 claps and a peep snitch.
Woo!
There we go.
Yes, there we go. Happy New Year, everybody. Get this. After 191 I digresses in last year, we get a brand new clean slate on I digresses this year. 2026 is going to be a huge year. And of course, as we lead into that, we have 3 tenets for you to follow as you always do. And that is, of course, laughs, good times, and woo, all the wrestling news possible. Now, can you dig that, sucker?
I love it, peeps. I love it. Happy New Year to you, my friend.
Yes.
But, of course, we're not alone. Guys, I say this all the time to you. And if you don't get it yet, I suggest you get it now. Make this your New Year's resolution. If you want dark humor, if you want the heart and the soul of this great podcast that you can listen to every weekend, I suggest you pick up your cellular device, go to the phone app, go into the keypad, and type in the numbers 411. Ladies and gentlemen, I give to you the host of Morton's Law, Christopher Morton, Mr. 411.
Yo, Happy New Year. Look what happened. They got a haircut. Look at that. Oh my God. Miracles happen.
Gotta come in fresh and clean. There you go.
Gotta hold you down to get that done. Oh my goodness.
Can you imagine what
Wow.
the aftermath looked like? I mean, I can only think.
Yes.
Did you have to pay your barber like triple, quadruple? Like
I paid him and I digresses. There you go.
you know he's never gonna want him back there.
They had to use hedge clippers for that thing, man.
No
That's
Brutus
good.
beefcake. No Brutus beefcake.
Man, it was like, I want to see him come in. You know what kind of hairstyle I want to see him? Let your soul,
Your soul. The soul. Yeah, there you go.
The way I see Peeps' hairline receding already, if he uses that, he's gonna have to go ahead and start using Just for Men Indeed. Or at this point, get it too.
Nate has most of his hair from being a billion years old. Think about how old.
There you go.
Look,
there you go.
Look, if Noah in the Bible couldn't keep his hair after that long, and Peeps can, Peeps, round of applause, man. Round of applause.
Thank you.
Look, this is Saturday afternoon's main event. We want to welcome you guys. We want to thank you guys for going ahead and tuning in. Whether you are on Twitch, Twitter, or YouTube, we appreciate that. You guys can share the podcast. You can go ahead and follow us on our social media platforms, which, of course, Instagram being at Saturday Afternoons _main event, Twitter /X being Saturday Main, and, of course, our TikTok, where we go ahead and post good social media news, updates, and memes for your enjoyment at Saturday Afternoons ME. With that being said, I think it's only fair that we go ahead and get into the Labs, good times, and all the wrestling news possible portion of our show. And that, of course, starts with this sound. When you hear that, it means it's time for one thing and one thing only. It is time for 3 Rope Talk. All of the professional wrestling news throughout the week within the confines of the squared circle. Let's go ahead and start off with this as the first piece of news of 3 Rope Talk for the year. The WWE library has begun to show up on Netflix. Of course, this comes after WWE and Peacock's deal that was 6 years old finally ended on the 31st, last day of the year. Now we begin to see that shows like Bragging Rights, Capital Punishment, Capital Carnage, so on and so forth are beginning to show up on the Netflix streaming platform as of this past Thursday. Peeps, we know this now, but of course we know that this may mean that a lot of the pay-per-views and premium live events that are still ongoing and taking place are on the ESPN platform. Peeps, why do they want to make it so complicated for the domestic crowd?
I have no idea. It's the most fragmented thing that they can do with all of their content. Now, mind you, we kind of predicted at some point when we heard about the eventual rights to ESPN, or when the rights for Peacock, they were going to lose the library. We all assumed that eventually all of this content was going to end up on Netflix anyway, because internationally, that's basically where they've taken the remnants of the WWE network and put it internationally on Netflix. But what we're starting to see now is not only is it on Netflix with a lot of their older pay-per-views and older shows, also the current premium live events are on ESPN, but also the WWE has their own WWE vault for WCW and WWE's older content that they update every other day, it seems. The only problem is ECW is nowhere to be found, because they don't even have an ECW YouTube channel. There are huge chunks of Monday Night Raw, like at least 1,500 episodes that are not on the network at all, that have been moving around. So we have all of that fragmentation. And if you're the type of hardcore fan that wants to see all of your content that you would have normally gotten for $9.99 on the WWE network, you got to pay a minimum of probably about, say, $65-70 for the month if you want to get to the full access to the content that you're looking for. And I think that's kind of where the confusion has been and is going to be going forward.
I agree. Chris, how do you feel about it?
But a good percentage of this stuff is on YouTube.
Yes.
I mean, even ECW has clips up. You can watch matches. There's ways to watch it. You have to be a person who has no life, who only watches wrestling, doesn't have a job, in order to really care about what is not available to you. Because every time I sit down and eat a meal, I put on the WWE Vault. I get to watch any NWA thing I want to watch. I get to watch, there's a lot of classic stuff and good material up there on YouTube to watch a match here and there that I feel like it is what it is, especially if you're not going to pay extra money for it. Go watch it for free.
Yeah. And it's a trickle that they're uploading some of them. And I know some of the complaints in the comment section. Why don't you release the entire content of, what happened prior? They release the old WCW Saturday night episodes, or they release the old NWA Power Hour type stuff. Those kinds of things that they would show. It's going to come out eventually, all of that content. So you will be able to enjoy it pretty much wherever it is.
Got it. Now, the real question I want to ask you guys before we move over to the next topic, knowing that the ESPN deal has just kicked in after about a couple of months, after that deal's over, do you guys feel like the WWE would probably bring back the network and probably just make it a bit more expensive than the $10 that we were paying prior? Or do you
mean if the WWE doesn't get sold to another entity again by the end of that deal?
Saudi, you know what? I digress.
There you go. First of the year.
ESPN
there you go.
Says, listen, we've heard the reports about ESPN not being happy with this deal. So
exactly.
What if ESPN says, hey, we cut our losses, whatever we need to pay to get out of this, we're done with you.
And there goes another revenue stream. So I think if we're looking at it to be as pragmatic as possible, I think what the WWE is doing right now is they're saying, well, we have all this great content. We just started up with ESPN. We're going to do everything that we can to improve the product so that the ESPN suits are going to be happy. At the same time, we know that the fans are going to be happy. But one of the things that the fans have been upset about since this whole thing has gotten is the cost of everything has gone up. Access to certain events and shows have gotten even more difficult to get through. I mean, if you were one of those people that were one of those people, as you see the Mania Club, you see those fans that I've been to every WrestleMania since so and so and so. It's going to get much harder now that you got Saudi Arabia hosting the Royal Rumble this year. This is the test run for WrestleMania next year. So we'll see how that goes.
Have mercy. Have mercy.
Yeah.
Well, look, that ends the debate here on WWE going ahead and putting up some of the library on Netflix. We'll move to the world of All Elite Wrestling here. World's End took place last weekend. What a show. What a show. What a show. We now have a new AEW World Champion, and his name is Maxwell Jacob Friedman, MJF.
Yes.
Now, look, what did you guys think of the show? Chris, we'll start with you.
So the funny thing about the main event was, Nate and I, and your uncle, by the way, your uncle went to Dave & Buster's and had ourselves a good night.
Yes.
And I was 3 Long Island iced teas and a Heineken in for the main event. And I'm watching this, right, as I'm also watching sports because everything is on in the room. And all of a sudden the match just ends. And I go, Nate, what happened? He goes, MJF just won. I'm like, that was so. My question is, was there a build to the finish, or the finish just come out of nowhere? What do you remember?
It was a build going in where it looked like there were some false finishes. It looked like Joe had a chance to win the match that got broken up, and Swerve had a chance. He did the house call. He looked like he was going to win. Then there was the spot with Paige doing the buckshot lariat and almost taking out MJF, but the finish happened when everybody else got hurt and Joe was about to get back into the ring, and then MJF used the heat seeker, which that's the thing that shocked me because it's very rare that MJF wins a match with the heat seeker pile driver. And I think that's why it kind of stunned everybody. Most people were thinking it's going to be something else. But yeah,
to be fair, it's a great finish. And
it is.
We talk about wrestling all the time here, how guys will use this ridiculous move and it's not their finish. Guy kicked out on 2.5. Like, he should be dead. He should be paralyzed.
Yes.
And then you have this other finisher where you're like, why is that his finish? But the Heat Seeker has to be his finish.
Yes, especially when the current trend that I see, especially in a lot of AEW matches, is that somebody will hit their finisher, somebody will kick out, and then they'll hit that finisher again and then get the pin. And it's like, well, why couldn't you have gotten the pin with the first time you used it, especially if the move has been protected going into that match? So that's one of the things that is kind of odd, but that's the reason why I like MJF in ring, because he's the closest that you're going to get to the mindset of a Nick Bockwinkel, who will try his best not to use the same finishing move twice in a match. That's why I like that.
Ring the bell. We couldn't get through one show without a Bockwinkel reference. Wait, what else is coming today? Come on, Nate.
Jeez. You know what?
I'll get you a Bruiser Brody and an Abdullah the Butcher at some point. So there you go.
I'm sorry, Rich.
From there, even though we have that, we also have a new AEW Continental Champion.
Yes,
his name is John Moxley. Where I know we all weren't expecting that curveball, but what were your thoughts, Peeps?
What's more surprising, the fact that when we last week talked about who was going to be in the championship final for this, the fact that Mox got into it, or the fact that Mox cut a face promo at the end of the match?
Talk about it.
I mean, that was weird. Now, obviously, while we were in Dave & Buster's, there was no sound, so we couldn't hear it. So I had to wait until I got back home, and then somebody uploaded from the arena. They were there and recorded it, and he cut this promo like he was a face. Like, we busted the butts for these fans, and they paid all of this money to do all the things that they want to see these wrestlers do, et cetera, et cetera. And he came across as a face to the extent that the fans were cheering for Moxley, which is really odd. But yeah, it was weird. We thought that between Okada and Takeshita should have gone over, because the consensus is Takeshita is up and coming. He deserves to get that spot and get that first championship singles title push. That didn't happen. So, of course, Okada is in the final. And then you've got Mox, and then you have Fletcher. And obviously Fletcher, who I've been saying, and a lot of us have been saying, is the future of AEW, especially sometime now in 2026, he gets choked out by Moxley. Like, I don't understand that.
And that's an issue. But you know what? I think what probably was the most shocking thing, and I have to say this because it's for Chris mostly. How did you feel about No Blood?
We lost. Listen, when we did the preview show, we talked about, and what do we do, an over under 5 minutes?
Yes.
Right? Yep. And Nate and I are looking at each other going, they're not bleeding yet. This is amazing.
Yeah.
They ain't bleed at all. What a perfect.
Yes.
Right, at all. Correct. At 5 minutes in, we lost. I think we lost every bet because we did pick Fletcher, and no one had Moxley winning. So if anything, what you could say about this show, I think for the most part, it was unpredictable, which isn't bad. But also, as we talk about, and other people have shed light on this, if it is predictable, if it's done well, it doesn't matter.
Yes, because they will go home happy. And I think that's what the fans are. When they watch an AEW pay-per-view, that's what they're looking for. The other thing that kind of threw us all off is that we're so accustomed to some sort of surprise at the end of the show. Lights going out, somebody making a return or a debut or some kind of giant angle at the end of the show. And it didn't. MJF raised the belt. The fans cheered and booed. And that was the end of the show. And the show ended shortly under 12 o'clock because we thought that those shows would usually last longer.
Wait. There was the best part about that. I had gone on X and asked Tony Khan if he could end the show early because of the Dave & Buster's effect, which I was wrong about because I didn't realize on Saturday night they close at 1, so it doesn't factor in. But lo and behold, the show ended exactly right at midnight. Right at midnight, I believe.
What a beautiful thing. Yo, Tony, great job, man. Yo, thumbs up for you. But I think the other thing that we have to go ahead and speak about is the downfall of Monet is genuinely happening.
Yeah,
Mercedes Moné ends up losing that tag match, and then later on, as Dynamite this week happens, last show of the year, New Year's, like pretty much New Year's Day, what happens? She loses the TBS title to Willow Nightingale.
Yes.
I love it. I love it.
Yes.
I love it.
And there was storyline continuity to that too.
Indeed.
Because that's who she beat to win the belt initially.
Exactly. So you know what? I'm genuinely loving the booking from AEW currently at this.
So is this setting up, as you guys had already alluded to in the past, the fact that she has to lose all these titles in order to get the main title for the first time, 3 times a charm, as we had mentioned?
Yes.
Indeed.
So this,
I feel like it is, because
this leads me to believe that this is going to be a bigger year for Mercedes and the women's division based on that style of booking, I think.
But what I think it should be is, instead of losing it would make something good if she was losing the titles again to people within those promotions. But I feel like it would be even better if you had her losing these titles to certain other women on the roster to at least give them certain pushes to go out and be on the indies and do good work. Because then it's like, okay, like you're at least showcasing the other women talent and the other female talent that you have within Ring of Honor, within AEW, and you give them a chance.
Yeah.
So I would think that would be the line that they should go with. But still, all in favor of her losing all of those titles, leading up to her going ahead and possibly facing Chris Statlander again and achieving the big one, as we call it in professional wrestling, and winning the world title. So, we'll just have to wait and see what are the plans within the next couple of weeks into the year.
I heard, by the way, Rich, I heard she prefers the big one.
I mean, she did divorce her Asian husband, so I mean, hey, no wonder she got with the guy called the Beast.
Wow!
No.
I guess we're starting it off with a bang. Oh boy. Oh man.
Mom Donnie's your mayor now. I don't know. I don't know.
I'm not going anywhere near that one.
Peeps voted for Cuomo, guys. It's a good doctor, right? But it's okay. It's okay. Look, from there we move back into the world of WWE. Look, Tommaso Ciampa might be leaving. This is something that we didn't see coming, right, guys? But it's has been reported that he is possibly leaving. They offered him a contract. No word on that. I don't know what's going on within that sector. We are waiting to see what more details are coming out by the minute. But yes, this might be happening. Peeps, what are your thoughts on this? How do you feel about this?
I don't think this is one of those things that Ciampa is getting out of a contract to get a giant contract somewhere else. I personally think he's beat up. I have a feeling that he probably needs some time off, maybe to kind of reset, figure out what he wants to do with the future of his career. And taking some time off, even if it's not under contract with WWE, probably might help him out some. Maybe in his mind, he didn't think that creative was going to help him out while he was in the last parts of his contract. But we do remember they gave him and his partner, Johnny Gargano, a big tag team push on SmackDown over the last 6 months or so. So it's not as if he hasn't been featured in some way. So I think that he's going to take this time to probably just heal up, and we'll see from there where he goes as far as his decision.
All right, Chris.
Yeah, I mean, he's been around for a while. He's had a good run. Well, the good run came in NXT, let's be honest. It was a phenomenal run where some of his best work we've ever seen. Yes. And then, of course, with the tag team. Main roster, it's been a mixed bag, a lot of nothing. And then you get that push with the tag team that they got last year.
Yes.
And ultimately, we talk about the history of the injuries, and that weighs a huge part on his career.
Especially his neck injury.
Going forward, he's not getting any younger. He's got to be 40, if not older, right? So
I think he's 42. I think.
Right. He's in that neighborhood. So what does he have left to offer the business? I mean, can he go to TNA? Can he go to AEW? Wherever he goes, if it's not WWE, it's not going to be I mean, maybe TNA gives him a bigger push, but AEW's not. He's gonna get lost there. I mean, he should never go there.
Yeah. What are they gonna do? Team him up with Ricochet or something? I mean,
no, it's just not. It's not.
It doesn't make any sense.
There's just nothing. There's nothing there.
Yeah. So if he does return, whenever that may be, if he does, it'll be back with WWE. I just think he wants to probably take some time off and then kind of maybe figure some things out and heal and get himself for whatever the next stage of what he thinks would be his career and what's best for him.
Well, then we'll just have to wait and see what comes down to that. Just a quick comment out here from Xavier Martinez. He says, shouts out to the one time the P1. I went to a DMB and they cut the show on us. It seems like damn.
Wow.
Sucks to be you.
Wow.
Jeez, man.
I guess Tony Khan didn't like that one.
Jeez, they hate
no show for you.
They hate the Florida fans, guys. It really be like that. But as one door seems to be closing with Tommaso Ciampa, one door has opened with one Matt Cardona. He is officially re-signed with the WWE. Showed up and made his debut or his re-debut last night on SmackDown against Kit Wilson, who also got an upgrade of a theme song.
They rebranded him.
Rebranded him completely. But when it comes down to Matt Cardona being back, new theme song for him, no longer with the Zack Ryder stuff. This is Matt Cardona. Chris, we know you have a long-lasting beef with Matt Cardona due to the fact that Chelsea Green. But on a business aspect, how do you feel about Matt Cardona being back in the WWE?
She married the wrong man.
Chris, give him an I digress on that one for the year. Go on ahead. You know you got it in you.
You have it in you, man.
She and I were both like, we got Canadian blood. I mean, she's more Canadian than I am, but I got a little bit there, Anyway, okay. So him coming out as Matt Cardona surprised everybody. I was just like, oh, okay. Now, he did get the woo, 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 right, to begin the theme song.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's kind of confusing because you're not exactly separating the previous character from the new one.
Yes.
And Michael Cole a couple times slipped up on commentary calling him Zach.
Yes.
That happened. Cole losing his mind as he gets older. But let's see what happens with him. I mean, we know he had burned the bridge in AEW. I don't know how much he's going to want to have. How much of a push can they give him? Because, again, look at the pool of talent in that company. It's so hard. And people get on Triple H for the booking, and rightfully so in some aspects. Don't get me wrong, but it's not easy. It's not easy when you go, I got this guy, I got that guy. I mean, the laundry list we could go through of guys that you could put a title on and push. Yes. And it's just like it's again, who knows if he gets lost? He could get lost. We'll see.
I could see him getting some kind of mid-card title push. I can see him chasing a U.S. title. Or chasing the IC title, especially since we know that Dominic Mysterio is injured on Raw. Who knows? Is he going to stay exclusive to SmackDown? Is it kind of a back and forth? Who knows? But it's nice to see him back there to finally get some kind of a push, a kind of redemption for basically what he went through. And he even referenced the fact that he was in that Last Chances Now tournament that he was in as Matt Cardona. So there you go.
Look, all is well with that. All is well with that. It seems like we have a couple of listeners. Pokemon 52-T7P. He says Matt Cardona's in WWE. Seems like we really have an ecstatic one. Chris, you have to get up with the program, man. I get it. Look, like Love Triangle. I understand. I understand. He probably just said that to piss you off, honestly. But look, beyond all that, we move on to the next piece of news, still staying within WWE confines. NXT stars are beginning their main roster runs. Look, Jordan Grace showed up last night on SmackDown. Trick Willie,
is
now within the men's main roster on SmackDown as well.
Promo. Talk about that promo last night.
That promo was fantastic, phenomenal, zing. But when it comes down to it, can we genuinely see Trick Williams entering the main card title picture that quickly within World Championships? Peeps, we'll start with you.
I could see him in the Royal Rumble and doing well to kind of establish him going just as in this first month of his run on the main roster. His promo skills have you know what? I think the TNA run was to get him ready for the SmackDown debut. They put the world title on him. He had a decent run with it. And I think that his confidence grew as they kind of figured how to slot him in. And they figured, well, what brand were we going to put him on? SmackDown seems to be a good fit. And the best person that they put him in for this program was Sami Zayn. And I think that it works because how he ran Sami Zayn down, he talked about himself, and knowing on the cusp of a potential future feud, we know that Carmelo Hayes is in the periphery. So we'll see where that works. Perfect promo, perfect setup. They did a really good job on that.
Yeah, that is the title that makes the most sense of him going after right away. And again, we talk about the promo and the reaction. The fans were with him.
Oh,
there was
yes.
a percentage of fans that were with everything he was saying, that popped on everything he said. And what do we talk about? What do they hear backstage? The reaction, right, of the fans,
Yes.
The promo skills, and then I don't know what merch he has out there, but if the merch is selling, well, you got to do something with them. It applies to everybody.
I'm just glad that we're past what the WWE used to do, where they would bring somebody up from NXT and they would change everything that made that wrestler special in NXT. We know Trick has really good music. It's catchy with the fans. They didn't touch that at all. They haven't touched his entrance, any of that. And that's perfect.
Well, what's the major difference? The major difference is the guy in charge. The guy that used to run NXT is now the guy in charge of WWE.
Yes.
Versus Vince, who didn't really care that much about NXT.
Yes.
So, yeah, indeed. But I have to say, look, Ilya Dragunov, Carmelo Hayes, Trick Williams, all on the same roster. Hey, I'm here for it. I am here for it.
If nothing else, the mid card is stacked.
Indeed. I have to agree on that. But we still have to wait for Oba as well, you know.
Oh yes.
Look, that would just be a doozy even more. Yeah, I know, Peach. That would get you to pop hard. What, you know, come Royal Rumble, Gunther and Oba going ahead and having a stare down. Yeah, Peeps is about to bust, guys. Let's leave him be. But
hey, Nate, what if Triple H brought back the territories? WWE had multiple territories where guys would win titles and call them like state titles, like the Florida Championship, for example.
Yes.
And then
Missouri,
eventually and challenge for the world title. That's something. I mean, with the plethora of talent.
Yes.
And WWE ID, where you can actually have other people stay within a territory. You know what? Hopefully they're listening, right?
I think that was the concept behind what Triple H wanted when the NXT brand was expanding. Is remember, they were going to do an NXT Europe, they were going to do an NXT Japan, they were going to do certain things like that where they could bring in talent from around the world and get them ready for main WWE rosters while cultivating the young talent that's there in that territory. Similar concept, just on an international level. So they could have done that in the statewide, like NXT Florida or NXT Texas or NXT Missouri. I mean, that would have been interesting.
I mean, it would be great if you just think like, yo, you know, WWE is like the global phenomenon, the one that travels around the world and gets to do these other things. And if you have all of these different WWE ID indie promotions, then you already have, you know, Evolve existing in there too. Genuinely turn it into something like the NWA, where
we need a real world champion. Woo!
Yo, all we would need next is a World Championship Wrestling Saturday night show at 6:05 on the USA Network.
There you go.
I mean, don't they own the name? Jeez, I'm waiting for Nitro to come back. What are these guys doing? But speaking of Monday Nitro, we'll move on to the next piece of news here on Saturday afternoon's main event, and it involves Big Daddy Cool Diesel. You know, yeah,
there's going to be some digressions in this one.
Kevin Nash, ladies and gentlemen, is now again beefing with CM Punk after 15 long years. You know, geez, Kevin Nash back on wrestling news channels. Oh my God, thought he was dead. LOL. What are we doing, guys? Okay, so Pete, give us a rundown of this.
Okay, basically what seems to have happened is after a couple weeks ago, when CM Punk was on TV for Monday Night Raw, especially with the issue and the angle that they ran between Punk and Braun Breaker.
Yes.
He had a problem talking about Kevin Nash with CM Punk, the world champion, looking slow, wearing a t-shirt. As a matter of fact, his exact quote is, quote, I watched CM Punk at the main event of that match last Monday. Number one, if you're the heavyweight champion of the WWE and you wrestle in a t-shirt, ouch. I'm going to get to that in a second. Number two, his punches looked really slow. He looked slow. I think he's done. I think Breakker should beat him. That's the quote right there. First off, does anybody remember when Kevin Nash wrestled that he used to have he used to wrestle in like a t-shirt, like a tank top? Then does anyone remember that? Oh, as a matter of fact, I remember he used to wrestle in a t-shirt in his feud with CM Punk. Oh, interesting.
I digress.
It seems like every time,
I have nothing to say.
anytime Nash says something, because he makes some really good points in certain instances, but then there are times that it smacks of bitterness where he comes out and talks about certain aspects of the business that either he's not part of or privy to. Remember, he ran down LA Knight. Oh, he's a ripoff of The Rock and he's a ripoff of Austin, et cetera, et cetera. And then a couple months later, he's like, oh, I was wrong. What are we doing?
To wrestling fans who do not understand this kind of stuff when it happens, this is what happens when old-timer wrestlers are missing their heyday, even though back when they held the main card title and was champion for a good amount of time, they were tuna sandwich merchants. But again, I digress. Chris, of course, we know later on, Punk was on a house show, ends up going ahead and doing a little rib on that, ends up taking off his actual original tee just to show that he had another t-shirt underneath. Obviously, we can tell that Charles Montgomery Punk isn't fazed by Kevin Nash's words.
Yes.
So, what do you feel should be the next step? Should Kevin Nash just choose to shut the hell up nowadays, or, do you think he just has to find a promoter?
So, one, the internet never loses, right? The greatest line I read during this whole thing was during the Kevin Nash speech or whatever he was saying, he pulled his quad.
You knew they were going there.
Secondly, so even if Punk has a shirt on, he doesn't need the shirt. He's not out of shape. He's in really good shape. So I don't even know why he has it on or was doing it for a little while. It makes no sense to me.
Probably to sell the shirt as a merch deal.
Can't make sense of it. I don't think he needs help selling his shirt.
He doesn't need the help, yeah, but I'm sure it doesn't help, especially if it's a new shirt.
Never needed it. And let's be fair, Nash, while he wore whatever what is that? It's not a singlet. It's with the straps, right? He had the straps on.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like Jerry Lawler in a way with a strap.
Yeah.
He was never out of shape either. Nash was not out of shape. He was in tremendous shape.
Yes.
So again, is Punk slowing down? Let's answer that question. He is. Let's be honest. But he's also of the age where a wrestler should be slowing down. It's okay not to be as fast as he once was. Is his work still good? Yes. Is his timing off? It is off. It is off. I see a lot of mishaps in his connection with the timing. Definitely off. Can he work on that? I don't know. But overall, Nash isn't entirely wrong. He's not completely wrong here. So I don't trash him as much as others will. So that's about it.
I believe Punk and AJ are the same age. I think they're both 47. Punk, when he decides to hang them up, he'll know. I think at this level for his career, he's probably got like at least maybe another year or two where he's kind of like in that main event push all the time, just based on his name, just on who he is. Then when the skill diminishes to the point where he figures, you know what, I can't do it anymore, maybe next year, the year after, that's when he'll start thinking about winding it down. We don't know. But I think Nash, there are times when Nash on his podcast, in him being critical, because now that he's retired and in the business of criticizing wrestling, some of his hot takes can be very
diminishing,
off-putting to some people.
Indeed. It comes off like that. Of course, it helps people like Raquel Rodriguez, but then again, you sit there and you're like, okay, like, do you really have to be speaking on Punk? But again, this is Kevin Nash we're talking about here. So
but put it like this: at least he's not Vince Russo. I can listen to Kevin Nash.
Bro.
He's not Vince Russo, bro. But I'll digress.
What is that? Third, fourth one of the day? Jeez.
That's the fourth one of the day already.
Kicking the new year into high gear, guys.
Yeah.
But look, that marks the end of 3 Rope Talk here on Same. Look, you want to keep up with all the latest social media news, wrestling updates, all of that good stuff. Follow us on our social media platforms. Of course, Instagram being Saturday Afternoons _ main event, Twitter being Saturday Main, TikTok being Saturday Afternoons ME. Thieves, before we go ahead and get into everything else, we want to go ahead and hear the ratings for this past.
Here's the funny part is that the ratings are still all over the place because of the holidays. So we've got some of the ratings, at least we got NXT's ratings for last week, a couple days before Christmas. They did 602,000 viewers with a 0.08 in the demo. SmackDown, which we talked about last week, that did 995,000, they improved this week 1.13 million with a 0.27 in the demo. So in that enviable that quest to get their viewers back up, it got up in a pretty much of a hurry, which goes to show you the holidays, the sports that were on opposite of it, that's kind of what drained a lot of their ratings. But they bounced back with their most recent ratings. So in the competition, if you want to call it, from last year, outside of whatever happens with NXT and AEW's ratings, right now, AEW has only won 4 weeks of 2025, whereas all of the other weeks for NXT has been either close wins or by far and away wins. So we'll see what happens now with even more competition, because we know AMC is going to be airing TNA Wrestling starting on the 15th of this month. We'll see what happens there.
I hope that's a good first number. I don't want to hear like 200,000. That'd be sad, man.
Yeah. And also we got to contend with starting whenever the ratings come in for SmackDown next week. SmackDown went to 3 hours for the first time in a while, and that's going to be a more permanent thing. So we're going to see how that averages out. Yes. Yes.
Nobody.
Yes.
Jeez. Oh gosh. But look, Peeps, thank you for the ratings on that, my friend. Look,
no problem.
We're going to go ahead and mark this as the end of that for Same. But look, that doesn't mean it's the end of Same, because we still have more good stuff to go ahead and speak about here on Saturday Afternoon's Main Event, which we will be leading now into our question of the week. Guys, of course, when we talk about the question of the week, if you want to be a part of the show, if you want to be able to send in a question where you feel as if it should matter and it is great to ask, feel free to hit us up and DM us on our Instagram at Saturday Afternoons _ main event. Send in a question, and if it's good and you know that it's good and we know that it's good, in the words of JBL, I guarantee it will be on the next episode of the show. With that being said, this one comes in from Master Sean 007 to open up this year. He says, greetings, gentlemen. Wishing you guys a happy and prosperous new year. Now for this year, who do you guys see as the next breakout stars across all promotions? Well, in honor of our other co-host, I will say that the breakout star for the WWE is none other than the greatest intercontinental AAA mega heavyweight campeon, my boy, Dominic Mysterio. You guys can take the rest. I don't know. Go ahead.
There you go.
What a champion. But no, in reality, I feel like Dominic would be heading WWE. When it comes to New Japan, look, I don't, as much as we don't see him no more as a breakout star, but I feel like he's going to be the one spearheading. Of course, Takeshita comes out as, that big face. But when it comes to AEW, if we're speaking about breakout stars, we talked about it into last year. Now this year, Kyle Fletcher's still my main guy.
Yeah.
Chris,
I mean, if he's booked right, I mean, Takeshita and Fletcher should be their top guys going forward until Ospreay returns, if he ever does return with his injury.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not a lot of other guys that clearly Tony's lukewarm on Hangman, or he would have taken the title off of him. MJF is still going to be there for now until he decides to go be a Hollywood star, for life. I mean, do you guys see him going full-time Hollywood, or is it just like a thing right now?
Well, he's only, 28, 29. He
Right,
has
right.
more than enough time if he figures out that that's what he wants to do. And that's roughly about the time when The Rock and John Cena decided that they were going to start doing movies a little more often. All of them were good at what they were doing, Hollywood-wise, and we can see that that can pull away from the in-ring work. Kyle Fletcher, I don't think he has to worry about that at all. So yeah, as far as breakout stars, AEW, Kyle Fletcher has a rocket on his back. And I think that, as Chris just alluded to, if they do the right things to continue to let him develop into the star that we think he can be, and he avoids the injury bug that happens to a lot of wrestlers in the AEW, because last year AEW was absolutely destroyed with injuries. If they can get over the injuries, even with the roster that is as stacked as they have, that is going to be your breakout star there.
Well, just put that out there, though. How do they get over the injury bug? You tell everybody. How do they get over it?
Being safe, as you would say, stop dropping people on their heads, doing certain things that make a little more sense. Some of the things that we talked about that Kenny Omega needed to do to kind of curtail his injury-prone self over the last few years, which is he seemed to wrestle a different style of match when he was in New Japan as opposed to AEW. And we could actually physically see the difference in his in-ring work because he was trying to save himself for other matches. Even though he's not wrestling as often, he was doing matches differently to kind of save his body. My other breakout star, especially in TNA, and we've talked about this also, is Leon Slater.
Yeah.
Slater right now going to be a huge star with TNA. Javon Evans from NXT and now potentially on the main roster. Oba Femi is going to be another big breakout star because he's going to be main roster as well. Trick. If the WWE is not hurting for young talent that are going to be stars going forward. Mm-hmm. And that's basically what the NXT brand is there for, to cultivate young guys, to bring them up and get them ready. Fraxium was on the NXT roster for 3 years, two as a team, and then they brought them both up to the main roster, and they've been having really good matches as we thought they would be. So yes.
Kevin Knight 2026.
Yes. I'm expecting big things from him and a singles title push at some point within the next 3 months.
Indeed. One of the promotions that we didn't speak about was TNA. Look, Leon Slater, future. Yeah. I'll say this now.
Yes.
But look, from there, I feel like that marks the end of that. Master Sean 007, great question to start off the year. Yes. Look, guys, again, you want to be a part of the show, all you got to do is DM us a question. And if it is that damn good, in the words of the game Triple H, then look, it'll be on the next episode of the show. So again, DM us on Instagram at Saturday Afternoons_main event. Well, look, that being said, we're going to get to the final topic of our show today. Look, it kind of ties in a sense, to Master Sean 007's question because he asked us what the breakout star would be. We're going to go ahead and preview this week of wrestling, being that this is the year that kind of sets off everything into full gear. Not speaking in words of AEW, but when I speak about everything setting into full gear, look at it, guys. A couple of days, a couple of weeks till the Royal Rumble, which sets into WrestleMania season. And then, of course, look, tomorrow, or I should say later tonight, for those of you who probably might be staying up domestically within the U.S., I actually have a friend in Tokyo right now. Look, Wrestle Kingdom 20, Tanahashi's last match, and it's going to be against Okada. So, look, that's something to look forward to. And look,
oh, no.
Chris seems like he's losing it. Chris.
No, that match is gonna be in slow motion. Those guys can't move anymore. Oh, I don't want to see that. Listen, no, Meltzer will give it.
We know Okada can still hit that drop kick. That's about really right now what he's got there is his best move.
We'll give it 8 stars, and everyone will say it's the greatest match of all time when it's not.
I mean, let's keep it $150. They're probably gonna only earn about 6 more of those stars only because it's in the Tokyo Dome. So look, we have that to look forward to. But still, I feel like it's going to be one of those matches which could end up being emotional in a sense. So look, I'll only be seated because it's Tanahashi's last match.
Yes.
of
I
course.
was never a fan of Tanahashi. I never got it. I'm one of those few
Really?
people that I just didn't get the work. I never thought the work was great. I never thought he did anything special in the ring. I'm sorry. I'm guilty. If people want to hate me for that, fine.
Well, Chris, okay, I have to ask you this. You know, who like in all of you've seen in New Japan, who stands out as like your number one all time?
Oh, I mean, Prime Okada for sure. I mean, the guy was great. There's no denying that. Prime Omega, tremendous.
Prime Omega,
Yeah.
okay.
You're talking modern era. We're not going back to the 80s and 90s. We're not going to go.
Yeah, I'm talking modern era. So, like,
Right.
you know, that would Shinsuke be on that list for you as well, or?
Yeah. Oh, for sure. That run
Yeah.
he had in 15. Oh my God. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
When they were kind of bringing him in to help with Impact, he would come in briefly and then show up in Impact and then go back to New Japan. So yeah, that was actually one of those things that you want to see. And then the matches that he had in Ring of Honor to kind of piggyback between their cross-pollination between those two wrestling companies. So yeah, those were some really good
I have
matches.
to say, mine is Prime AJ. You know, that would be it for
Yeah.
me. Yeah. Prime AJ had to go ahead and, like, you know, stand out as one. But, you know, still back on the question, look, from New Japan, we would move to the Raw, being Raw is Stranger Things, right? You know, we have that. Main event, Punk, Breaker, world title. You guys still see as this would be the coronation moment for Braun? Do we see Chris Jericho possibly, you know, making his return to WWE on Monday? What do you guys have in store for Monday Night Raw?
Nash.
I think what we're going to have, this is a big card. They've been talking about this card for the last almost 3 weeks. The build has been good. WWE has disappointed us when it comes to big builds about something happening, and then all of a sudden it's the complete opposite of what we were expecting. So sometimes you want to kind of tamper your expectations just a little bit, tamping it down a bit. But based on the way this is built, this is going to go one of two ways. Either Braun is going to win the world title, and that's going to continue on, or somebody is going to screw Braun out of winning that match, which is going to lead to him having a title match or being part of the Royal Rumble in the Rumble to get at that title shot. So I think going in, the show is going to be big because it's the 1 year anniversary of Raw moving to Netflix. It's going to be big, promoted big, and it's in Brooklyn. So they're going to do a lot of promotion, and it's going to be a big card. So I think that that's where they're going with that.
Okay. Chris?
Yeah, when you just mentioned who could screw him out of the match, it's, I mean, way too early to theory to do anything. So I don't know who else in the vision or someone outside of the box that we aren't thinking of right now that could do that. I mean, I don't think anyone's going to win the match. I think it could be a double DQ. I don't think Punk should beat Breaker at this point. I don't know. But the rest of the night, like you alluded to, Jericho could be there. And how about the crowd? The crowd has picked up all the way. There was a point where they had only sold 6,500 tickets, and now I believe it's at 10,000. So they continue to open up more seats. And, you know, as we said earlier, nothing's hurting WWE right now going forward as we head into a Royal Rumble, WrestleMania season. I mean, you mentioned early in the pre-show the ticket prices have gone down a little bit, so people are going to be buying left and right now.
Indeed. Yeah. Indeed. Well, look, that kind of marks that. But now we get into SmackDown. Of course, at 3 Stages of Hell match.
Yes.
Yeah, you know, and I've heard that they have announced the falls. Of course, fall 1 being a regular wrestling match. Fall 2 being Falls Count Anywhere, and then fall 3 being a steel cage.
Yes.
Again, do we sit there and still have Drew McIntyre going over hence after Randy Orton's promo with Cody this past Friday?
Yes. Here's why. Because he could still drop it right back at Royal Rumble. Cody can win it back, and then you can set up the WrestleMania match unless they do have eyes on Roman and Cody for a third time. I mean, I don't know. Do you really want to see that third match, considering Roman is as part-time as it gets?
I mean, I think you want to probably end up seeing the way that this feud has gone. They want to see it end. And I think that third one that we talked about over the year is probably one of those things where it's something that has to happen. So, yeah, I would like to see that happen going forward.
Peeps,
But
I think the WWE has infiltrated Mr. 411's computer.
you sure your uncle didn't turn the lights out thinking he was talking about another promotion?
CTB. Jeez, Chris, if anything, just tune out and join back in, man. But peeps, as it still pertains though, we talk about that third match, right?
Yes.
And we talk about how it pertains when it comes down to trilogy of matches that we have gotten at WrestleMania. You know, you think about Rock Austin, you think about you know, I would say maybe Taker Triple H. That has happened 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and when you talk about Roman and Cody, I think it has that same sense of, you know, rareness in the air.
Yes.
If you put those two men in a ring, being that the last 2 times that it's happened, we are now at a stable of 1-1.
Yes.
You know, the grudge match happened at WrestleMania 40. Cody ended up winning, coming out on top and gaining the WWE title. I think it's only fair now that with Cody now having the title, Roman gets that fair shot, which is why I still feel that Roman Reigns is going to be winning the Rumble in Saudi Arabia.
To get that last shot to get in there with Cody potentially.
Exactly.
But,
So I feel like Randy would still be the best case scenario, but I feel like also Triple H is the kind of guy that would do what Chris hates the most, which is lazy booking and put all 3.
So you're thinking it's going to be like a triple threat match or something?
I would hate if it is. I would hate if it is. I genuinely would hate if it is, because my thought process would be maybe Cody does end up winning the title, retaining this, come next week, and then maybe Randy goes in to after that match and assaults Cody, maybe punt kicks him. Then you set up the match for the Royal Rumble or Elimination Chamber.
Yes,
have it be a 2-month feud, but no, at the end of it, Roman Reigns is winning the Rumble and he's facing Cody at WrestleMania. That's my thought process.
But the thought process as far as Cody and Drew, they have built this in stages similar to what they did with Drew and Punk, in the same way that they did by interacting with Drew, and then having, you CM Punk's anger, and then you had Seth Rollins' anger to all of them because I hate everybody. And so there was that combustible element that they added. So now that we're seeing how Drew has almost single-handedly carried this feud, going to Cody's bus, taking the picture of his father and himself and smashing it on the ground, knowing that Nick Aldis told him, you can't touch each other or else you're getting a strip to the championship. Those are the ways that you build up, by putting a roadblock that you want to see someone get their head ripped off. That's what you do.
But I feel like, he takes it even a step further by even burning the picture.
Yes.
It's funny. He even posted on social media after the show that he took a leak on Cody's bus.
Wow.
Listen, you gotta love Drew McIntyre.
Yes.
Best heel work that I've seen in a long time.
This is the kayfabe that you would expect to have happened during the territory days, if the territory days had social media back then. That's what you would expect to have happen.
This is Dusty Rick revisited.
Yes.
But only difference is that Dusty has the title. That's the only difference. Peeps, I have to say.
Yes.
All of this, though, is setting up for a good year of wrestling.
Yes.
I can only say that wrestling should be back on top this year. We have the Rumble to look forward to, even though it's in Saudi.
Yes.
We have the Elimination Chamber in Chicago. Then we lead into WrestleMania. We have AEW to worry about. The coronation.
MJF is back. Thank God.
MJF is back.
Yes.
TNA is going to be on actual real cable for what?
Yes. They haven't been on a real cable network since the TNN days of Spike TV.
Oh, remind me! Oh my God, Spike Television.
Yes.
No, I would watch 1,000 Ways to Die right before TNA. Babes,
there are 1,000 ways that you could end up dead. I used to love that show. Yeah.
In the words of the great actor Idris Elba, put the word out. We're back.
Yes.
We are back.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is professional wrestling at its finest, and it's only fair that we kick the year in full gear here on Saturday afternoon's main event. But with that, I have to say that this marks the end of the show. We appreciate you guys for chiming in and listening to me, my co-host, the Peeps Nash, and of course, our currently absent co-host due to technical difficulties, Mr. 411.
Yes.
It's okay. Hopefully, he probably comes back on before the show. But if not, Chris, we appreciate you. But to the fans, we thank you even more for going ahead and being here, listening to us here on Saturday afternoon's main event. Hope to see you next week for another great episode where we will recover everything that happens within this week of professional wrestling. And
hopefully the ratings will be updated.
Hopefully, right, peeps?
Yeah.
Look, that's it for today. Guys, just remember, this was Saturday afternoon's main event where I, the phenomenal one,
and for our co-host, Mr. 411, Christopher Morton, I'm the Peeps Nash, where we came,
we saw,
and in the words of the Oracle Paul Heyman,
send us home for the first time this year, peeps.
We conquered.
We conquered. See you next week for the following episode. I'm the phenomenal one. This is the Peeps Nash. And the first Mr. 4-1, of course, this was saying peace, love, farewell.